So hello everybody and welcome to the Dartmouth Wanderers presents Healthy Cooking with Coastline and with me, Jamie. And so today we have this wonderful man, George, as our guest today. So George, do you mind introducing yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
I don't mind at all. My name is George Smith. I'm a board member for about 20 years, built the advisory council and board of the Coastline Elderly. And I was asked if I would like to come on the program today, and I said, well, I don't know what I cook. I said, but I do make pasta at home.
Yes.
I've made pasta for about 40 years. When I got married 45 years ago, my
veteran pasta maker.
wife's grandmother said to my wife, come upstairs, I'm going to teach you how to make pasta. My wife says, no, you're taking him. So I've learned, like I say, 40 years ago, how we make it simple. We don't get into a lot of things. It's eggs and flour and some water to get the texture, and that's how we make the pasta. Things have changed in 40 years. Used to use the rolling pin. Today we have modern machinery to do the project. So if you like, I could get started.
Absolutely. So let me just tell you, we're making today, we're going to make our homemade pasta with George, and we're going to make it into shrimp scampi, a little bit of a healthified shrimp scampi. So we cut down on the butter in there.
And
so I'm going to, go ahead.
And to be helpful, they asked if I can make this not with only flour. So what I've done is we're making what we call 2 eggs. I normally at home would make a 4-egg batch, but we're calling it 2 eggs today. And it's a mixture of 1 cup of wheat flour, 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour.
We were talking, we were saying, how can we make this a little bit healthier too?
Right.
Not just cutting down on the butter. And I said, why don't we try doing a whole grain pasta?
Well, my wife couldn't believe I was doing it that way because you're making it look ugly. It does come out darker.
It does come out darker. It changes the color. But really with any recipe, you can substitute half whole grain flour with the regular all-purpose flour, and it won't make that much of a difference.
Now, again, in the olden days, we would say making 2 eggs, I would pour 2 cups of flour here, put a hole in the middle, take a fork, break the egg up, and then start flipping the flour in, and finally making a dough, and that's what we use, and then use a rolling pin. Well, today is a little different. I have put together the two flours here. I brought another modern tool, a food processor, which we will pour the flour and mixture into the food processor.
Now, George is teaching me something too, because I've never made pasta before either. So this is new for me.
We'll just plug this in for a second here, make sure we mixed it all up right. And put this cover on here.
So this is only 3 ingredients, right?
Right, it's only 3 ingredients.
Okay.
The first one is in there.
Flour.
The next one is the eggs. So we crack 2 eggs. And 1 egg.
Okay.
2 eggs.
And then you whir it up again?
We whir it up. We start getting it to get a consistency now.
Now, how long do you have to mix it up for like
well,
that?
That becomes the eye. Now we add a little water to this to get this moving.
Okay.
And you'll see what I mean by moving in a second. Now you see, I have you'd probably say a mess.
So George,
I have a ball.
How do you know how much water to add?
I did one before because of the wheat. I usually only use about 1/3 of a cup, but because of the wheat, I guess, I tried it last night to make sure because I never used it with wheat flour before.
Oh, okay.
And half a cup of water seemed to be the solution.
Is that about the same as with the regular white flour?
What's
How much
that?
water you'd use?
I use about 1/3 of a cup on it.
Okay, so you had to use a little bit more water with the wheat flour.
Right, I
Okay.
did, right.
Okay. So
Now-
that seemed really easy. What do we do next?
Let me move my board over here so we can demonstrate a little bit.
And just so you guys know, over here, I'm gonna start chopping up the
All right.
stuff for the shrimp scampi. So I'm gonna chop up 4 cloves of garlic and half of an onion, a regular white onion, and we're gonna saute them in the pan with the shrimp while George works on the pasta. So what's the next step?
Well, next step is to get it out of the container.
Okay.
And we spread a little flour on the table here. It's be sticky. And the next thing you want to get is a little consistency here.
Okay.
Something that's hard to explain because you got to do it. And again, you don't
gotta
put a
get the
lot of
right
flour
feel.
here, just enough to. And you
So
move
this
it in
takes
your heel.
time to
That's right,
really
just-
learn how it feels.
Yeah, get the
Okay.
feel. I'll let you feel it.
Yeah. How would you describe how it should feel? Kind of firm or mostly dry? Oh,
Pretty
it's
good.
heavy. It feels
Heavy.
heavy. Okay.
All right.
Pretty solid. It's not moist really. It's pretty dry.
Now I have taken. Now at this point, I would take a Saran wrap, wrap this, and about 15-20 minutes in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Now I made one prior to coming here, which is in here.
We bought a pre-made one today.
I don't have the wrap, so I'll just put this in here for now.
Oh, okay.
Well, I use this wrap.
Okay. So how long do you have to chill it for?
You need to chill it for at least 15-20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes.
Now this one's been in overnight.
Okay. Is it best to do it overnight if you have the time?
No, I don't think it matters. Now
Okay.
again, some chef will probably criticize the way I did this.
It's homemade though, right?
It's homemade. What's a nice thing about this, you can invite friends over, you sit in the kitchen, have a glass of wine, and people can talk, and you're
While you make the
some,
pasta.
teaching some friends about pasta.
So do you have to knead that dough, or do you just roll it out
Just,
and then you start?
we're going to roll it out now,
Okay.
right?
Do you have any tips for rolling it out?
Well,
that you've
that's what you're
learned
going to
along
see
the
now.
way?
Now, like I say, in the olden days, we rolled this out with a rolling pin. Today, again, having modern technology, we have a press here. Now, the old press I had didn't have this part here, which is a motor.
A motor.
And we have a hand crank, and it goes in here, and you set this on level 1. It's a set of rollers here, and you would put the dough in and roll it, take it
Okay.
out, and keep rolling it.
That
Well,
must have taken you a long time.
modern tool. Oh, it does. It takes an hour and a half sometimes.
Wow.
So you can drink a lot of wine at meantime. But I think it's a fun thing.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think a lot more men should learn a little bit more about cooking.
Yeah.
Not that they want to take over the suppers from their wives, but it comes in handy, especially if you live alone.
That's true. It does.
Right,
To
and,
be able to cook.
I have recently taken a cooking course, a plug for vocational school.
Oh, you
There was
did?
12 people in the class, and now I do this here is I put flour on the machine so there's no
Okay.
sticking here.
Okay.
Because when we start making the pasta, now we turn the machine on, and we put the dough inside, and we roll it out.
Look at that.
Now, at the first, you leave it on step 1
Okay.
for a couple of times because you want to try to widen this pasta out.
Okay.
Because this pasta can be used for a number of other things. Now, see, I put a little coat of flour on it,
Okay.
and I'm trying to
So
get it
you-
almost the width of the machine.
So you want to keep folding it in half
Yeah,
every time
until
you
we
put
get
it
the
through.
width of the machine. All right, I'm gonna try it this way a little bit. And then as we get one done on one, we have a couple of things here. Now we move the lever up to 2,
Okay.
and this would be, you'll be rolling heavier with your arms, and notice we let it all take place with the machine.
Ah.
I roll mine up to number 6 on the machine.
Now is number 6 kind of like a spaghetti or is that
No,
for
how
linguine?
thin you get it.
Okay.
Right? The number on the machine brings the dough down thinner and thinner.
Okay.
Every once in a while I'll pat it in the flour so we don't get a stick in here.
Okay.
And
George, you make it look so easy.
Well, I don't know about that. And at home, what happens is, as we get these strips made, I have the kitchen table chairs, and I put little towels on the back of the chair, and I put the pasta up there so we can continue making more and more until we get the cutter.
Okay.
So this one here is almost ready to go on the chair. As you see, we get longer and longer, and 6 is my final roll.
Okay. I can imagine how hard it is to get it that thin if you're rolling it out by hand.
Well, that's true. And now I would put it on a chair like this at home and start my next piece.
Okay.
All right?
You've got it hung on the chair.
Now you can't make a mistake how big a piece you get, because it rolls. So you go back to one.
Okay. And it holds together on its own.
Yeah.
Look at that. So I'm going to catch you up on what I'm doing over here with the shrimp scampi. So I've got 4 cloves of garlic and an onion in the pan. You want to cook them just a little bit so they're a little translucent, and then add in your shrimp. The shrimp only take maybe 5 minutes at the most. You want to buy any size shrimp that you prefer. I bought the ones that were on sale. And you want to make sure they're peeled and deveined. Because if you get any shell in there, that's not good eats at all. So, do you eat a lot of whole wheat things at home?
No.
No, okay. So when I
Probably
said
should start.
And you're going to start. And
The other, I can vouch for being healthy though.
yeah. Changing your
battling
diet.
diabetes and keeping my blood sugars corrected, and my daughter was a nurse, keeps good tabs on me. And back in, I guess it was April,
Yeah.
I was going to the doctor's, and my blood sugars were, A1C was 7, which is not good.
Yeah.
And
a little bit of background for an A1C is a measure of your blood sugar over
3 month
time.
supply of blood.
And if you're a diabetic, the goal is to keep it below 7.
That's right.
If you're not a diabetic, the goal is to keep it below 6.
So my daughter, being the nurse, says, "Dad, you got to do something. You got to go back to Weight Watchers."
She's looking out for you.
So we went back to Weight Watchers in May, end of May. I have, as of yesterday, dropped 21 pounds.
Oh,
Sunday,
George, that's
as of
great.
Sunday. And to get back to the weight, my insulin has gone from 23 units before meals to about 13 to 12. I went to the doctor's Thursday, and my doctor informed me that I have my diabetes under control, and my A1C is now 5.7.
That's wonderful, George.
So I do know that diet and watching what you do is an important factor.
Changing your diet.
Exactly.
And it's small changes.
But like anything else,
changed everything all at once,
it doesn't
wouldn't
happen.
have been able. Yeah.
And exercise is important also.
Yeah.
Now, in my case, for years I was unable to walk because of back problems. I've had 3 back operations.
Wow.
I couldn't even do what I'm doing now, standing up. But I've had that repaired, and except for this morning, I've walked 2 miles every day.
Wow.
And there's no excuses why you can't walk, because if you can't walk around Buntwood Park, you can walk at the Dartmouth Mall, which opens up at 6 o'clock in the mornings.
Okay.
And on weekends it opens at 7.
So there's other options other than just outside.
Right. So if the weather's bad, getting cold, I know I used to have that thing, poor excuse why I can't walk. It's raining out or it's cold out. And I've, since May, I've decided, you know what, no excuses, get out there and walk.
I like your attitude.
let's hope I can keep continuing this attitude.
It's not always easy in the winter. It gets really cold. You might not like to drive in the snow.
I'm going to do a few more here, all right?
Okay.
And
this really isn't even taking that long. I mean,
no.
Look how much you've done already. We've got it all over the back of the...
What I'm going to do is this last one, and then I'm going to take that and show you how I make the noodles.
Okay. So some of the reasons we wanted to go whole grain with this, or adding the whole wheat, is the fiber. You also get a lot more vitamins and minerals if you do something whole wheat. So fiber of it by itself can help you lose weight.
And one of the reasons I'm folding this is I'm trying to make the pasta wider.
Okay.
Because not only do you make pasta noodles, you can also make ravioli. Now, my wife makes a ravioli she loves, and that ravioli consists of, she calls it torte, and it's same pasta, except when you roll it, put it out on the table, she takes a recipe she makes up with squash pie filling in a can with some Parmesan cheese, I think some nutmeg, and I don't know what other ingredients.
Ooh.
And she puts that inside, which makes a squash ravioli.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Now, the only thing bad with those, and loads it with butter on the top. Her mother and father used to make something like tortellinis. Little round pastas. You can make, they used to make what they call capellinis. Similar to that, but the difference was they would save steak, roast beef, pork, and grind it all up and make their stuffing. Now we have the recipe for the stuffing, but like most older people that cook a lot, they can tell you what's in it, but they don't tell you how many spoons of this and that. So we've attempted it a couple of times, but we still haven't got the recipe down pat and how much of this you put in, how much of that. So
takes some figuring out.
And like I say, I've looked on the line. There's a number of ways of making pasta, but this is how I was taught.
That's how you like
for the
to do
chefs
it.
out there saying, you know what, he's making it all wrong. I apologize if I made a mess of your pasta. But this is how we make it.
So what's your favorite recipe to make with the pasta? What do you guys like to do?
My wife makes a sauce, which is chunks of beef and Italian sausage and tomatoes and chunk tomatoes, and we call it sauce. So once you make the pasta, she pours the sauce on top and cheese on top of that, and you have yourself a delicious meal.
Absolutely. That's simple too.
Right.
And homemade.
What
And another one of the
cut
benefits of the homemade is reducing the salt. So when you get a pre-made pasta, they can be very salty.
Yeah. I didn't use any salt.
No, you didn't use any salt, and I'm not using any salt
I know
either.
there's some salt in some of the recipes, but I don't use salt.
Okay. So what are you doing now?
Now I'm just cutting this down to size here so we can demonstrate how we cut this up.
Okay. So you chop it in half.
I'm going to move this over to this here.
Okay.
We're now going to take this piece here. We are going to put our motor on, and we're going to slide this into the...
Oh, it even cuts it for you.
And then we take our little magic wand, and we take the pasta
Oh my
off. And my wife bought me this tree a few years ago, and it really makes it a lot easier.
Wow.
And you can put this on the kitchen table, and when this is ready to go, you, it may, like I say, take a few hours, but what happens, they drop right off the tree beautifully, right on the countertop or table that you put this on, and you have yourself your pasta.
Wow,
Now,
that's so easy.
If you're going to store the pasta, you can cook it right away. But if you're going to store the pasta, you have to put it dry. It has to be dry, or it'll turn mold in a bag like I have some over there.
Okay. So how do you dry it?
Let it out.
Just let it hang?
let it out, yeah.
Okay. How long do you have to let it hang for?
Well, that there stayed overnight on the table.
Okay. So we have George brought in a pre-made pasta that he tried with the whole grain. So once it's dried, this is what it'll look like.
And the thing is here, you can't make any mistakes. You know, if you're worrying about if one didn't cut right, or it's crooked or wobbly.
It's
you know
homemade,
what?
right?
It's homemade. And see how easy it goes on the rack?
That's so...
The best toy my wife ever bought me.
You got a good wife.
And what happens, this becomes a family thing. Usually I make the pasta, my wife does this part. And she,
Okay.
I don't want to say runs, but she goes over to the table,
She
puts
goes
this
over to
on,
the table.
comes back, and I get the next piece ready. Right?
It's a family affair.
Family affair. So like I say, it's something you can do together. And you know that thing there, family that cooks together stays together.
That's true. It's a
And
great
see what I tell
family
you about when
bonding
it's
thing.
wet, it sticks. So you have to try to get it to dry up a little bit.
Okay.
I'll let those dry a little
So
bit
those
more.
are drying. We've got this pasta.
You got
that
that
we're
pasta
with.
going. I'm going to make a few more here.
And this is perfect for our linguini.
Huh?
This is perfect for our shrimp scampi.
How's that shrimp scampi coming, all right?
It's going good. So I sauteed down my my onions and my garlic.
Okay.
I added the shrimp in.
That
It
looks
cooked for a
beautiful.
couple minutes. Yeah. I added the shrimp in for a couple minutes. And then
I
once
hope we don't
that
put
was...
Olive Garden out of business.
I know. I think ours is good. And then now I'm wilting in some spinach.
And no salt.
No salt at all. And I
It
cut out the
smells
butter.
delicious.
We just used a little bit of olive oil. And I'm adding in spinach because traditionally shrimp scampi doesn't really have any vegetables in it. So spinach is a really easy thing to add in. You can buy it in bags now, pre-washed, ready to go, baby spinach. You do want to use a baby spinach versus the regular spinach because the regular spinach can be kind of bitter.
Okay.
And the baby spinach is a lot more tender and easy to work with. And you just do it until it wilts in. And we really can add, since spinach cooks down so much, we'll probably have this whole bag in there by the time we're done. So.
Yeah, it does cook down.
And that way when you're eating the pasta, you're getting all this extra nutrients in here. So how long does it keep for after you dry it, the pasta?
We keep ours for about a week.
A week. Okay.
Right? Again, there's no preservatives in this pasta.
Okay.
I don't know. A lot of them do have preservatives.
They
last
do.
on the shelf.
Pre-made pasta. I mean, think about how long it lasts.
Right. So there's no preservatives, no salt.
Okay. And could you freeze it if you?
You know, my wife has cooked it and froze it.
Okay. So cook it first.
It could be frozen,
Okay.
but it's wet.
Okay.
But you know, when we make those raviolis, we freeze those
Oh.
and then cook
So
them.
you've got your own, so it's like a pre-made meal
Yeah,
that's ready
yeah,
to go
yeah.
whenever you want it. All right. So can I start putting some pasta
Yep.
in the water?
Good
Do
idea.
I take this pasta?
Yeah, take that one.
Okay. So we're going to cook up the fresh pasta. Sticking. It is a little
Get it
sticky.
out. It's wet. No getting the one in the bag then.
Whoop.
It's too wet. Get
Does
the
that
one in
look
the bag
okay?
that's all dry.
Use the bag?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's saying it's a little bit sticky because it needs to dry for longer and hang. So we're going to use this dried one.
I've never cooked it off the
You
tree.
haven't?
No.
All right. So I just boiled some water. I put a little bit of olive oil in it just so it doesn't
Okay.
stick. And we'll do just enough pasta for us. And I also forgot to say with that shrimp scampi, I put lemon in there. And I put
right.
lemon zest.
That's good.
Just gonna get a lot of flavor from that. And how long does it take to cook?
Well, I would say the wife does it by feel.
Okay.
But papers I've read, when
We
it
gotta
floats to the
try it.
top, it's done. So
Okay.
let's,
And it floats to the top.
we'll look at how if it does float to the top, if it's done, if not, we'll do the taste.
All right. We'll do a taste test. And I imagine the fresh pasta, when you make it yourself, probably cooks faster than something you
Right.
get from a box, right? Okay. So it really won't take very long at all. So do you eat shrimp scampi a lot, George? Do you like fish?
What's that?
Do you like to eat fish at home?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Very, very much.
Okay. So what kind of fish do you like to eat?
Cod. Cod's my
Cod's
favorite.
your favorite?
Yep.
Okay. You like shrimp?
Love shrimp.
Okay.
We always have bags of shrimp in the freezer for something that come up in a hurry. It's a
Okay.
quick meal. It's a good Weight Watchers meal.
It is. Yeah, so I think you were telling us the Weight Watchers points to go with our meal. And this one was so low, I think, I remember.
Yeah.
So this is a really great meal. You're getting a nice lean source of protein from the shrimp. We've got the lemon juice and the onions and the garlic, and then this pasta, which we now have whole wheat pasta. And it's going to be
Let's put it
delicious.
this way. It'll be the first. I haven't ever eaten it.
So we're both trying something new today.
Yeah.
And look at this all around the tree.
See, some of this is wet.
It's very festive. Okay. So our shrimp scampi's almost done.
All right.
We're getting really close here. The shrimp is finished. I've got all the spinach in. And you can really add any vegetable you wanted to this.
Yep.
You could do asparagus, you could add broccoli in if that's what you like. Anything is good. It's really flexible.
So it's almost done, that pasta.
It's almost done. Oh, he's right. So it's floating in here.
Yeah.
Maybe we should try a piece.
Got a mark there again.
I have a fork
Sample.
over here. So we're gonna take some and try it. It's really the best way to tell if your pasta's done.
Yeah.
Even if you're making a pre-packaged pasta. What do you say? A little bit more? So we want it to be al dente, right?
You don't want it crunchy.
Don't want it
Not too
crunchy. Crunchy pasta's no good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reserve a little bit of this cooking water
Yep.
just in case our pasta gets a little bit thick. As it sits sometimes, the sauce, there's not much of a sauce in here, but we do have the lemon juice. And as it sits, it can get thick and kind of gummy. So if we reserve some of the pasta water, we can thick it out. And it's a starchy water, so
Just
it'll thicken it a little bit. All right. So you think it's done?
I think it's done.
All right. So I'm going to take it over here, and I'm going to drain it out. Be very careful not to burn ourselves. Okay. Oh, George, I'm so excited about this. This is going to be so good. All right.
Just gonna make room
I don't
here.
think we even
Enough?
need this big of a bowl. All right. So I'm going to pour our pasta in here. And this is another...
This is probably one of the best tools you can buy.
What is that
Makes-
called?
I call it a chopper,
A
but
chopper?
it helps greatly when you're baking or cutting. Cleans up.
So all I'm doing over here, I'm tossing together our pasta and our shrimp. And see, we have a lot of shrimp in here and a lot of spinach. So if you're gonna have a serving of this pasta, you're gonna get a whole serving of veggies and you're gonna be more full from that fiber when we use that whole grain pasta.
That's the key.
That's
Fiber.
the key, is being more full for longer.
You
And
eat
then the
foods with
last
fiber.
thing that we put on is a little bit of parsley. So fresh herbs, best to add them at the end. Fresh herbs, because they'll tend to wilt and they'll get brown. You want that nice bright flavor at the very end. All right. Okay, I don't think we even need our pasta water today.
No?
So let's try this. Are you as excited as I am? I'm so excited. Okay. Move that over. I got us some forks. Thought I did. Oh, you already got your fork. Okay.
Right here's fork, yeah.
All right. So we'll take some of this out. Put it on our plate. And all this spinach. We'll get another shrimp on there.
Looks delicious.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then the last thing, it's optional really
Yeah.
if you want to add cheese to it.
Can't be Italian unless you use cheese.
That's very true.
Matter of fact, we just bought a one that you see in the restaurants.
Oh,
Turn
the
it
cheese, like a cheese
just
wheel?
small. Yeah. There's nothing like fresh grated Parmesan
Yeah, nothing like fresh grated Parmesan. So you just put a little bit of cheese right on top. And then we're good to go. We get to try it now. Now this is the best part. Let's come together over here. We'll come over here. All right.
All right. Dig in.
And you can use, I used Parmesan cheese today. You can use any kind you want. All right, ready? Oh, that's good.
Very good. Yeah, I might have to start making that pasta.
Whole wheat pasta. The lemon makes it nice and bright. The whole grain, yeah, I make a mess all the time. So good, you just want to throw it around and play with it. So thank you guys so much for doing this with me today.
Oh,
you
thank
taught
you.
me something new. It's great.
Thank you for the privilege.
I'm going to have to try this at home. And I hope you guys try it too, because this is delicious with the whole grain pasta. So thank you so much.
Okay.